Now from the Columbia Basin, your local news source, this is iFIBER 1 News, presented in high definition. The #1 source for real-time local news, local sports headlines, and our very own Weather Center forecast covering the entire Columbia Basin. With your iFIBER 1 News team, reporting news in real time as it's happening. From the iFIBER Communications HD broadcast studio in Ephrata, Washington, this is iFIBER 1 News, and it starts now.
Welcome to iFIBER 1 News. I'm Cody Johnson with news from around the Columbia Basin for Tuesday, December 4th. Tonight we report on a move by state lawmakers to stiffen penalties for drivers who repeatedly text behind the wheel, and hear how Soap Lake managed to move an 80-year-old tree and plant it at the center of the city. We'll hear how some public schools around the country plan to add hundreds of hours of learning time to the calendar, and tell you about a Quincy native who's vying for the title of Miss Rodeo America this week. In sports, we sit down with the head basketball coaches of Moses Lake High School to get a preview of the upcoming season. For our spotlight story tonight, we'll bring you a video postcard from the Midwest where people are gathering deep underground to hear Christmas carols. And we have the latest weather forecast for the Columbia Basin from the iFIBER 1 Weather Center. First up tonight, 3 people were injured at about 6:30 this morning when a semi-truck slammed into a pickup at the intersection of Dodson Road and Interstate 90. According to State Patrol, 24-year-old Oscar Marin Mendoza of Moses Lake exited westbound I-90 and attempted to turn the pickup left onto Dodson Road. Marin Mendoza reportedly failed to yield to a semi-truck being driven north on Dodson by 24-year-old Zachary Abhold of Eniat. The 2 vehicles collided in the northbound lanes of the Dodson Road overpass. Marin Mendoza was injured and transported by aid car to Samaritan Hospital, as were his 2 passengers, 14-year-old male and a 15-year-old female, both of Royal City. Neither juvenile was reportedly wearing seatbelts. Washington State could receive more federal money to enforce its texting while driving law, as long as state lawmakers are willing to increase fines for repeat offenders. Last year, the Washington State Patrol alone handed out 8,000 tickets and 10,000 warnings for texting-related offenses. The current penalty for getting caught behind the wheel while texting or for holding a cell phone to your ear while driving is $124. A second, third, or 10th violation in Washington carries the same fine as the first offense, which is something Congress is pushing states to change. State lawmakers are considering whether to adopt stricter penalties for repeat offenders, which could potentially put the state on a list of qualifiers for a portion of $30 million in federal money to be given out over the next 2 years. The cities of Soap Lake and Ephrata put up their town Christmas trees late last week. Here with a look at how it was done is Ryan Lancaster.
How do you get a Christmas tree from here to here? The city of Soap Lake enlisted the help of Grant PUD last Friday in falling and moving an 80-year-old spruce about 11 city blocks. It was replanted for the season at the intersection of Canis Street and Main. It wasn't an easy process. Power lines needed to be lifted as the tree was carefully cut out of the front yard of a residence and gingerly placed on a trailer for transport. Soap Lake Mayor Raymond Gravel said the tree was donated to serve as the town's tannenbaum by the property owner.
This year's tree came from the Hoffman residence up on West Main and Ginkgo. I understand that it was planted in 1929. People that have been around for a long time say that this is one of the biggest and most beautiful trees that we've ever had.
The base of the tree needed to be cut down to size before it could be lifted off the trailer and set on a massive tree stand, which is placed into the ground for stability.
This tradition for Soap Lake goes all the way back to the mid-70s. I just asked Marina Romery, owner of the Notaris Lodge, and she said mid-70s, and there hasn't been a year missed since. This is a wonderful tradition for Soap Lake, and everybody looks forward to it.
The tree was bolstered for support, and lights were strung that same day. Students from Soap Lake Elementary School will be putting ornaments on the tree this week, and there it will stand for the remainder of the holiday season. While not quite as large, Ephrata brought its own fresh-cut Christmas tree to the Sun Basin Plaza last Friday, also with some help from Grant PUD. Ephrata's tree, too, had to be trimmed before being lifted into place.
Whoa, you flipped it!
After it was positioned with the star side up, of course. For iFIBER 1 News, this is Ryan Lancaster reporting.
The same two cities are holding contests this year to see who's best at lighting up their houses for the holiday season. The Ephrata Rotary Club is sponsoring a holiday lighting and decorating contest for local residents and businesses, with selections made December 17th. The top 3 picks will be awarded cash prizes of $100, $75, and $25. Anyone wishing to be considered can call contest chair Jerry Hamley at 754-2695 or contact the Rotary Club on its Facebook page. The Soap Lake Association of Businesses and the Soap Lake Chamber of Commerce are meanwhile holding a Christmas lighting and house decorating contest in honor of Vern Hinkle. Before Hinkle passed away in August, he wowed travelers every year with his over-the-top Christmas light display along Daisy Street in Soap Lake. Hayrides are planned for Friday, December 14th to visit decorated homes throughout Soap Lake. There will be a vote and announcement of a winner the following day. Anyone who wants to participate in the decorating contest is asked to contact by email slabinsoaplake@gmail.com. The Grant County Sheriff's Office is notifying the public of a registered level 2 sex offender now living in Moses Lake. 55-year-old Jerry Chavez now resides in the 9000 block of Vernal Avenue Southeast. He was recently released after serving 290 days in King County Jail for charges relating to first-degree child molestation and second-degree child molestation. Chavez reportedly declined to attend sex offender treatment while in custody and is classified as a level 2 sex offender with a documented history and pattern of behavior which increases his risk to reoffend. He will be under the supervision of a state community corrections officer for the next 36 months. Chavez has served the sentence imposed on him by the courts and is not wanted by law enforcement at this time. The State Department of Corrections is looking for more people with arrest warrants. Each of the people you see here have warrants for their arrest and are wanted by various law enforcement agencies. If you see any of these people, the DOC asks that you not attempt to detain or apprehend them, but to call police. You can also call the Department of Corrections at 509-764-6180 during the day or 509-762-1160 after 5 p.m. We'll be back after these messages with the latest forecast from the iFIBER 1 Weather Center.